Good morning. Today we are going to talk about the housing market and how bad it's really getting. Let's get to it. Welcome back to the channel. I am Danno. Today we are having another coffee rant. Danno rant with coffee. However you like to say it. Get your coffee ready. It's going to be a long video. If you need to hit pause, I understand. Today we are drinking the Barissimo from Aldi donut shop. It's okay. It's not the best. It's funny, like every cup I have of this feels a little different. Like it's like one will taste good, the next one, these are the Keurig pods, which that could be my first mistake, but I don't know. This one's okay. It's a very light coffee. Hopefully it's enough to get me through this video. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the housing market. Figured it's a good time to, because there's been a lot of bad words. I won't say bad, we'll say crap. Anytime I want to say something else, I'll just say crap. How's that? So the housing market is absolute crap. I mean, it is terrible. Every time I look up prices of houses that are hundreds of years old, that are falling apart, are going for $250,000. Now, I know in some places of the country that may not be so bad. Around here, it's absolutely terrible. We don't make as much money around here as some other places. Here in the Midwest, prices are usually way cheaper, and wages have not caught up to the prices of things the way they're going. It's been hard enough to put food on the table, and we'll go into that here in a little bit. Lots of things I want to cover today. Just wanted to talk a little bit about the housing market, because we've been hearing things that have been ridiculous. You know, most of you who've been on the channel know for a while that me and Jessica, when we find the right deal on a house, well, the right deal on a house for us is not $350,000, and I refuse to pay $250,000 for a house that probably needs about $100,000 worth of work. So we're not going to be house broke, and I'm sure that many, many people are concerned of these things. And it's like, when you talk to people these days, because, prices on these houses have been going up for a long time now, over a couple years, people keep saying, oh, just wait, they'll come down. Well, every time I turn on my laptop, every time I look stuff up, prices are going up even higher. And I'm not talking like $1 like in the grocery stores. I'm talking like $20,000, $30,000. A house that we were looking at a few months ago has now jumped $50,000. You would think that if they're not selling the house, that it would drop. And I know people keep saying, oh, just keep waiting. Yeah, we're in no rush. We have an apartment here. We're quite fine with it. We're not going to be house broke. We're not going to be spending $300-something thousand on a house, $200-something thousand on a house where the foundation is completely cracked. I couldn't believe this house that I saw, where not only did it need a new roof, and you can always maybe work out little details with that. Well, put a new roof on it and keep it the same price. Maybe we'll, be careful. Be careful the way things are worded these days. All kinds of trickery. Trickery in car dealerships, trickery in the housing market, especially trickery in the grocery stores. But the one thing that bothers me is that now it's starting to hit people who are renting as well. For the last couple years, our rent has gone up 10%, which I believe is the legal limit in Ohio. I think you can only raise rent each year 10%. Which has been manageable, especially when you're looking at a lot of other prices of places and you see that your mortgage is going to be like $2,500 a month, which is absolutely insane, at least for people around here. Maybe out on the East and West Coast, and I don't know. I look, sometimes I'll just go in and I'll look at a lot of the housing market stuff out in California. I'm like, oh, well, it ain't that bad. I can see why people are moving out of California and into Arizona and Nevada, and some other places, even Texas we've been hearing. But, and again, anything in this conversation, feel free to leave down in the comments if you have any advice for anybody on the channel here. I do a lot of research, but we always get a lot of questions on different things going on in the housing market. I'm not an expert by any means when it comes to housing and stuff like that, especially when we're looking at numbers that are hard to count to. I'm pretty good with math, but at the same time, it doesn't take me long to figure out that, hey, you know, this is a bad move. And Jessica is always on the same page. At least this is something that we're never like, okay, let's jump on it. You know, some people have said to us, hey, jump on this. No, I'm not jumping on a $350,000 house, especially when it's in an HOA. We were looking at a house, really liked it. You know, it's like, well, if we're going to spend $250 on a house that needs $100,000 worth of work, maybe we should see what we can do about getting a brand new house. Well, the problem with this is that they're on a Homeowners Association, which I do not like at all. I can't stand Homeowners Associations. I'm not going to spend a fortune for our living and have somebody tell me what to do with my yard, or tell me that I can't paint the front of my house, that I can't keep Christmas decorations up for 2 months out of the year, you know, or whatever. It's your house. You pay for it. It's your land. I don't like the fact that they can tell you what to do at all. I mean, some may be better than others, but I'm sure a lot of us have heard nightmare stories on some of the different HOAs and stuff like that. So, really nice house. It was a lot of what we were looking for. Not much land though. I'd like to have some land, and just all that included. Plus, I don't even know what you can do. Can you have a garden? Like, these are other things, and it's like, that you got to look at when you're buying a piece of property. I want to have a garden. I want to have a big garden. I want to have a good amount of land and not pay, give my right arm for that piece of land. I mean, this is the properties around Cincinnati, Ohio have gotten so ridiculous. And the funny thing is, and it's not by any means funny, I just always say that for some reason. Cincinnati was like the start of this. It's like they were ripping from the middle of America and pulling out everywhere else. This was happening with everything. I've always been told, like growing up, if you want to tear something down, you don't start from the edges. You start from the middle. You start from the middle and you work your way out. It spreads out, because in the middle is always the place where it's going to be most vulnerable. Right? Most vulnerable. And that's probably a lot of symbolism with everything. You start with the middle of your heart, extends out to your arms. And I don't really know where I'm going with that, but I mean, it does, in a way, it kind of makes sense. We're in Ohio, is the heart of it all. A couple years ago, housing market, it was ridiculous. I almost wish we would have bought a house in Kentucky when I noticed that this was happening. I know we don't want to live in Kentucky. We want to live in Ohio. But, it's just, guys, it is falling apart. It is falling apart, and I don't see any end of it. Now, we've been waiting like 2 years, and we have not found anything that is worth it at all. And although we are pretty much past the point knowing that we're going to overpay for something, I'm not going to be broke. I'm not going to be completely broke. I've been there in my life. I've been, in my early 20s, counting change and trying to figure out how I was going to do it. I'm sure a lot of us have been there. Anybody in college, who was basically, on your own, you had to find out ways, especially if you didn't have, a scholarship or grant or something like that. I never had everything that I've ever gotten in my life. I've had to earn myself. I've had to work 2 jobs, sometimes 3 jobs, and I'm not going to go back to that. And when I start doing the numbers and I see, well, this weighs more than what we're going to be able to do, this is not going to happen. It's not going to happen unless I can find different ways, to turn things around and make it progress towards something. Because the big problem that I have is that if we buy now, what would it have been a year from now? We are seeing car prices get a little cheaper, and the thing is now I'm thinking, well, okay, maybe if we do wait, again, we're in no rush. We are being very patient. My patience is being trying here because we're running out of room for things. We pack a lot of stuff, and we find sales on food. We're buying it up. We're prepper. We prep things, in every little bit of space. This is a pantry. This is a pantry. This is, what I'm saying? Like, it's just everywhere. And we're running out of ideas. Well, I brought up the idea about the storage unit the other day, and I agree. A lot of things you want to be careful with storing in a storage unit, but any dry things, anything that you can have in your storage that maybe food isn't a great idea, but if you have a lot of stockpile on like canned goods and stuff like that, when you get a good price, a lot of this stuff I'm glad I bought up when I did, because look at the cost of everything now. I mean, it's not, this video is mostly about the housing market, but, again, we tie into the grocery stores because this is what we do. We go to the grocery stores all the time so that we can help save everybody money. That is what this channel is all about. This channel is all about saving money any way we can. Over the last few years, we have seen things blow up in price, and it's starting to hit everything. What I was talking a little bit about before is our rent going up 10% over the last couple years, which is within the legal limit. Now, I have been hearing from some of you that your rent, so I have a friend whose rent is supposed to go up $300 a month. But if they sign an overly long lease, it will only go up $150 a month. I mean, come on now. Like, if we're signing things over in the chance that there's no hope left, right? And people are gonna pay it. You know why they're gonna pay it? Because they don't, for many reasons. One, you're established. You don't want to move. You've made it as comfortable as possible already because you can barely afford to go to the grocery stores. You've made decisions based on, I can't afford a house, right? I can't afford to do this right now. I can't afford a loan that's going to cost me $2,500 to $3,000 a month, and maybe less. If you're fine. The problem is when I'm talking about a $200,000 house, I'm talking about a house like 3 years ago that you could get for $20,000, $30,000 because it's destroyed, right? People are paying $200,000 for a house that is destroyed. Like, ridiculous. The more and more I've been researching some of these things, I'm thinking, like, we have neighborhoods that aren't far from here, which even the housing, they're renting some of these houses for like $1,500, $2,000 a month. I mean, they're paying I guess, it is what it is. Somebody bought a house, they got to rent it out for that much. That's how they may not even be making money on that deal. They're probably some people are probably just paying off like half of their mortgage. Guys, it is a serious situation. It is a serious situation because we're seeing more and more things fall apart because of this. I know it sounds crazy to say this, but it all started with food. It started with what happened a few years ago, which I won't talk about, but we all know what it was. It all started with everything going up. People paying a fortune. People paying double almost, 6 months later? 6 months later after all this started, online shopping became, if it wasn't winning already, now it's taken over. How many Amazon trucks do you see drive down your street every day? I see them constantly. I see them every hour. I mean, yes, we live in an apartment, but I mean, we see Amazon trucks everywhere. Now we're starting to see more and more of the Kroger boost trucks. And I had a theory about that because some people were saying that had to get a little sip there. It's got coffee. This one's actually pretty good. The Midnight Blend's okay also from Aldi. That one's a little stronger. But we're seeing more and more of the Kroger boost trucks. Okay. Now, I had a theory because a lot of people were saying that they haven't seen a lot of Kroger boost trucks. And from what I've gathered, a lot of you that aren't seeing them are in pretty big cities. I know someone from Phoenix, and they're all over now. They're all over. And we have a lot of viewers from Orlando as well. And Kroger has places, they have the boost program in Florida. They have different warehouses that they're picking from, different trucks. So it's more prominent, or it's more dominant in cities in places where they don't have Kroger because that's the only way you can get the product. Here we have a Kroger everywhere. There's Krogers everywhere. There's everywhere. So we're not going to see as many around here as we do everywhere else. But now we are starting to see more and more because more and more people are ordering online. People aren't going out. They're not doing anything. This is actually, I feel, a bad thing. Great for people who can't get to the store. Great for people with disabilities that can't shop or go to the store and shop for themselves. Absolutely. It's an amazing thing that people are doing. However, there's multiple things that this is causing. This is like the trickle effect. And we've talked about this in other videos. This is like the domino effect. Okay, so what happens is less and less people are going to the grocery stores. That's what they say. That's what I say. And this could be the great lie, okay? Because every time I go to the store, they're packed. They're packed. I don't see Kroger's not busy at any time ever, okay? But this is what they'll tell you. We're seeing more and more self-checkouts. More and more self-checkouts. I think in the next 10 years, Kroger will only be self-checkout, which is sad. So I feel like it's even, these places want it to get so bad, right? But not make it look that way, right? So my aunt was at Kroger yesterday, okay, and this is the day before the 4th of July, so a couple days ago. And she walked in, she saw that every cart was gone. Every cart was gone, and the lines were toward the back of the store. 2 of the self-checkouts weren't working. And she just left. And I thought to myself, I thought about that for a second. And yes, it's the couple days before 4th of July. But guys, our Krogers are packed like that every Friday night, every Saturday. And it's like today. Okay, so today I went to Kroger. On the 4th, I went to Kroger. And a lot of people there. They had every checkout open. Every one of them. And I'm thinking that, okay, today's the holiday. Why are you having all of these open on today? Nobody's here. Not like it was the day before that, when you had 3 checkouts open and barely any self-checkouts. You think Kroger doesn't know that? You think they don't know that? No, they do. They do, and they're blaming it on employee shortages and stuff like that. Well, if there's, I don't know. I guess there's many things that could factor in here, but guys, this is the whole thing of the beginning of the collapse. And not in the grocery stores. They're working out in a way to where you're going to be happy. You're going to be happy when those self-checkouts are there because you were one of those ones that came in there in the night and saw that there were only 3 cashiers. And that you had to wait in a mile-long line to wait in the self-checkout. They want the millions of people that are going to see that. And it's not just Kroger, guys. It's everywhere. It's just the only one that we can really compare that's all over the country. The big giant of grocery stores. The Disney World of grocery stores. And they know that you've come in and you've seen that. So the next move to be to slowly move, right? Because it's not... So when they start doing the self-checkout, you're going to have in the back of your brain this one day where you needed to come in and get those cookies for your party or something, and then you just were so upset you wanted to leave. It's not like you're going to stop shopping at Kroger. You may start shopping online. But when you see those self-checkouts come in the next time, a lot of you are going to be really excited about it. Now, I've noticed a lot of these type of swings in the housing departments, housing situations. I don't know. I had like a timeline. I had like a whole breakdown of what I was going to do here. But anyway, the housing market. Okay. When we see little things, I feel like real estate agents are like timed out for like different parts of the year. Okay. Just like anything else. 4th of July sales, you'll see, why are beds always on sale on the 4th of July weekend? Like, what is up with that? I really don't know. Let me know down in the comments if you know that. I've always tried to figure that out. Different things like Christmas in July. Okay, yeah, sure. 6 months before Christmas, I get it. Have some sales of basically things that you've had for years that you're just cleaning out of the store. You know, with the housing market though, it's more like I feel like it's placed quarterly. I feel like these real estate agents are like, oh no, just wait. Make sure you call me though. This is gonna work out. When you call me in what was it, March, right? This is when the next smidge, right? Because they'll never say, oh no, it's going to drop. Prices are going to drop. No, they say, it's not going to, it'll be a smidge. That is a smart realtor because we all know that it's not going to drop. It's not going to drop like a Led Zeppelin, right? It's not going to drop like a, crazy amount. I don't ever see that happening. I don't. Not with that. It's hard to tell. It's a gamble either way, but I feel like over the 2 years that we've been waiting to get a house, it's only gotten worse, and we were promised better from a lot of different people. And I know that a lot of people are saying on the channel here, Dan, Jess, just wait, things are going to work out. I hope so. I hope that whatever, and the thing is and this is what I hate about it. I don't hate anything, but I mean, it's what I very much dislike about it is that a lot of these people who are buying up these houses for these prices, when it does crash, if it ever does, right? That's what we're being told, that these are going to be the times to buy when, we're somebody else's loss is our gain. And I hate to look at it that way, right? Because people were kind of probably in the same position we were, or maybe probably worse. They probably have kids and they have no choice. They're like, we need more space. We have to have a house. So they really overpaid. Now, 3 years later, things really start to go down the drain, which I'm sure at some point they'll work it out for themselves. They'll work it out for the housing market and everything. It's all, I feel, and I know people say this on the channel, but I really do. I feel like it's all planned, guys. I feel like it really is. I hate to always, I'm always very optimistic about a lot of things, I know, but over the last few years of doing life in the grocery stores and how much it's costing us and families and how it's hard to put food on the table, for a lot of people. And I get a lot of sad emails and people that just can't afford anything. And I'm looking up places. I'm looking up food pantries in different cities and different, some even different countries, and it's really it's sad. It's really sad. And then recently, over the last few months, we've been getting a lot of comments on housing and stuff like that and how people just can't afford the rent. And that's where I was going back to some of the apartments. People are charging an outrageous amount for apartments. And it's like, what do you do? Because they're paying a fortune, right? But at the same time, they're not paying any more than the agreement that they agreed to from the beginning. So for them to raise prices, let's just say the crazy $300 a month that I was hearing the other day, it's like, how do you factor that in? At that point, if that happened to us, I'd be like, well, okay, time to pull the trigger, time to buy. I will not. That is crazy. $300 extra a month. Ugh, I don't know. It's like we are just choked in a position to where we have to make bad decisions as best as we can. I know that sounds crazy, don't it? But to make a bad decision as best as we can, we have to do all the math. We have to factor in how much we're gaining, how much we're losing, how we're going to get through this. That's why I always say, we're so blessed to have such a great YouTube family on here that has such great advice. All of you have such great advice to bring to the table, no pun intended, on all of the different things that we do on this channel. And as we try to expand out more to conquer some of these issues that a lot of people are having, I can't help but to try and solve some of these issues together. Let us know how the housing market is where you are. Let us know, are things coming down? Are things going up? Have they kind of leveled off a little bit? It's only been an uphill battle here. in Cincinnati, Ohio. And I'll tell you what, it doesn't look like it's getting any better. It doesn't look like that direction is going. Um, I don't know who to feel worse for. When you're in a position where you can make a decision, but when you don't jump on it, you feel bad. You're like, wow, I should have jumped on it then. One thing that my brother has always taught me, that I've always learned from my brothers, you can't look in the past. You have to move in the future, and you have to move when you feel the time is right. You have to do it. You have to move forward. And that is exactly how we are approaching everything. We can't change the past. All we can do is change our future. And if that, hopefully, when the time is right, and the timing, because I feel everything in this is kind of how it's always been, but now if you don't do the timing exactly right, it could cost you a fortune. So you have to be very careful. And this is kind of my philosophy in the stores too. Like you guys always hear me when we do like a video shopping through Kroger and we're showing the buy 5 or more save $1 each deals. Guys, that is the time. That is the time, because that covers a huge amount of things that we can buy, where there's no limits, there's no things that keep you from, it's a lot of things that a lot of different people need. I've come to the conclusion, with almost 30,000 viewers, subscribers on the channel here, and many more, that a lot of these type of deals that we're pointing out are things that a lot of people use. And it always makes me feel good knowing the products that you're buying, where you're saving, how you're saving. People have been talking more and more about like Rakuten, Ibotta, different other ways to save money. Any way you can, any kind of apps or anything that are on here that can save you money, by processing orders or receipts through them. Gotta look into those. Some of them are a little fishy, but I trust Rakuten and I trust Ibotta, and there are many more others out there, different websites that you can, like kind of a third party, that you can, by using their stuff, you get a little bit of a discount. But guys, it's getting ugly. It's getting ugly, and it's getting uglier every day. And I hate to be the doom and gloom about all this, but we're trying to conquer life situations with us and share with you, so that if we make a mistake, hopefully you don't in the future. And that was kind of the main message that I wanted to get through of this video, is timing. Timing is everything, and it means a lot more today than it did years ago. This is not like a little gamble, of hitting that correct timing for things, because nowadays, if you miss that time, it's going to literally cost you a fortune. And like I said, we're patient, but I know a lot of people on the channel here who've been reaching out from older videos that we've done, and emails. And again, if I don't get to your email right away, we get hundreds of emails a day. We get well over 100 a day. So it's hard for me to really do the channel in the comments. It's easier to reach me in the comments, but I understand a lot of people don't want to put their name out here and stuff like that, which you don't ever use your real name if you don't. But I don't feel like that's I don't feel like that really matters anymore. But at the same time, I think that, yeah, if you don't feel comfortable with that, feel comfortable to email me and let me know, and I will get to you as soon as I can. Guys, I'll tell you what, we're just moving it day to day. We're going day to day, and that's how you got to do it. That's how you got to do it. When I was younger, I lived day to day all the time. I was broke. And I'll tell you what, when you're broke, you really know how to work with money. You really do. And that's what's trained me. It's trained me. When I had to figure out how I was going to eat for the next week, the next day, that is where you really learn as you get into your later adulthood, of how you need to save money to do other things like this. Grocery stores have always been a big thing, to where it's like, hey, this is something I'm not going to overpay on. I may have to overpay for a car someday, or overpay for a house, but I can eat and create things for cheap. I can make cheap meals. I can create meals that will last for a week. I mean, this is something that it's like, yeah, when you really get down to it, you can still save a lot of money if you become creative in a lot of your meals. And then by doing these little things, it helps you put away money for the things that you're gonna have to overspend in life someday. Oh, coffee's not bad. It's not bad. It's not the best, but I don't know. Trying to get rid of it. It's been sitting for a while. Guys, it's been a good talk. It's been another rant today. I got a very positive feedback from the last one where we kind of expose a lot of the grocery store lies that's going on. I'm probably going to do another video like that here in a few days. Won't discuss what it's about, but it is something that I'm kind of putting together because I want to make sure that whenever I discuss something that's could be a little confusing, I will give it's going to be about trickery. Trickery in the grocery stores. They are all master magicians and they know what they're doing. But guys, just keep on keeping it real. Just every day, be patient. Be patient. Lord knows we've been patient in all this. And we've talked to a lot of people. A lot of realtors, people I know, family members who know people. We got a couple people on the inside. There's just nothing they can do. All they can do is let us know when something arrives. And that's the other thing. Like I said, I talk about timing. Like, it's good to know somebody. It's good to know, like, hey, when you hear this, let me know right away. Because these houses, guys, people are just like, forget it. 300,000, sign me up. Like, they don't even look at the house. We're having a lot of houses being bought up in Cincinnati that aren't even people who live here. Like, and okay, I mean, whatever. I guess if you're living out in California or the East Coast or something, you're just tired of spending millions on whatever. I understand. I completely understand. You probably don't even care. It's probably like chump change to you. And I don't know. But I mean, it's like, some people can come out here and spend $200,000 on a house, spend $100,000, maybe flip it for $350,000. That's probably what's going on too. Guys, the rant is over today. Thank you all for listening to me. Something I've been wanting to talk about here for a long time. Finally, got the energy to talk about it. And we'll be giving updates on these things as we go along, as we like to share all of our life's adventures with you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. And always remember, the adventure is out there.